This is the story of a classic sniper who can kill his target several kilometers away, even with his eyes blindfolded. But this sniper used to be an ordinary math teacher earlier. He hated war and guns a lot. But one day, something happened in his life that turned him from a decent teacher to a ruthless sniper. The story begins in a small village in Ukraine where we are shown a small house. A couple lives in this house who are living their life happily in Ukraine. The name of the man living in this house is Maka, and his wife's name is Nastya. Nastya was a drawing artist and used to carve various statues from wood. Mykola is a teacher and teaches math to children in a nearby school. He teaches at the school. He is a very good teacher, and all the children are very happy with him except one whose name is On. On was a very ill-mannered boy. He used to trouble his teacher Mykola at school every day. On belonged to a rich family whereas Mola was a poor man. Therefore, On used to make fun of Maka's looks and clothes. He wanted Maka to get fed up with his rudeness and raise his hand on him. Then he would complain against him and get Maka expelled from school. But Maka was a very calm person. Mykola was not affected by his words, and he remained happy in his life. Mykola was not able to get news of the world due to the absence of any electronic equipment like TV etc. in his house. One day when Mykola was in his school, he heard news on TV that Russia had attacked Ukraine in which many soldiers were killed and Russia had captured many places in Ukraine. In the evening when Mykola came home, he came to know that his wife was pregnant. He was very happy to know this because now Mykola was going to become a father. Both of them celebrated this happiness together. The next day, Mola said bye to his wife and left on his bicycle to teach the children at school. But while he was on the way, he saw two soldiers standing with cigarettes lit and wearing a different uniform. That uniform was not at all that of Ukrainian soldiers, which made him feel a little strange. But Maka thought that maybe the government had changed the uniform of the soldiers. That is why Maka did not pay much attention to it and quickly reached his school. But when he came inside the school, he saw that the whole school was lying empty. Not even a single child came to school. Seeing this, he felt disturbed. Then he saw the news on TV in which it was being told that Russian soldiers have entered Ukraine to capture it. And now he realized that the soldiers he had seen on the way were actually from Russia. Thinking this, he got worried about his wife because she was alone at home. He immediately sat on his bicycle and rushed toward his house. But now it was too late. When Maka reached home, he saw that the two soldiers were beating his wife badly. Mykola tried to save her, but those soldiers started beating him too. He begged them, saying, "Please don't beat me. My wife is pregnant." But the soldiers didn't listen and kept beating both of them. After some time, one of the Russian soldiers searched Mykola's house. When he didn't find anything useful inside, he got angry, set the house on fire, and started to leave. Seeing her house burning, Nastya became furious. She picked up a stone and began hitting the Russian soldiers. Seeing this, one of the soldiers fired a shot, and Nastya died on the spot. The ground beneath Maka's feet seemed to vanish as he watched his wife die before his eyes. He ran to her, took her in his arms, and began to cry bitterly. After a few hours, two Ukrainian soldiers arrived at the scene. Seeing Mykola's wife dead, they felt deep sorrow. They placed their hands on Mykola's shoulder and told him not to lose courage. After that, the two soldiers began digging a grave for Nastya. Once the grave was ready, they told Maka to bury his wife there. After his wife's death, Mola was completely broken. He was now all alone. Those Russian soldiers had not only killed his wife, but had also destroyed his life. They burned down his house and killed his unborn child. Now, Mykola was burning with the fire of revenge. He had made up his mind to kill the Russian soldier who had shot his wife no matter what it took. The only way to take revenge was to join the Ukrainian army. That's why he requested those two soldiers. "Please take me with you. I want to join the Ukrainian army." The soldiers agreed and took Mykola to their military base in their vehicle. Before leaving, Mykola took a small wooden statue made by his wife, the one she had carved to protect him. When they reached the military base, their senior officer became angry after seeing Mola. He refused to recruit him, suspecting that Mykola might be a spy. But when the senior officer received full information about Mykola from the two soldiers, Mykola told him everything. How the Russian soldiers had brutally killed his wife and unborn child and burned his house. He said, "I have no reason left to live. I only want to free my country by killing those Russian soldiers." Hearing this, the senior officer was moved and agreed to recruit Mykola as a soldier. The next day, Maka's training began. Since he was just an ordinary man, he faced many difficulties during training. He had studied math all his life and had no knowledge about guns. When all the soldiers were assembling their rifles, Mola was very slow in comparison to them, and he assembled his rifle last. Seeing this, the officer felt that Mykola would never be able to become a good soldier. But Mykola did not give up and focused on his training. One night during training, Maka told his senior not to call him by his name and said his code name was Raven. When the others heard Raven, everyone started laughing. The senior told him that code names are not earned easily, and that a soldier must perform great feats for the country to deserve one. Mykola did not take this negatively and began working even harder. He practiced late into the night while the other soldiers slept. One day, the senior announced that they had a shortage of snipers and needed to increase their numbers to fight the Russians. He asked who wanted to become a sniper. Some soldiers stood up and Mola was among them because he also wanted to become a sniper. When the others saw Mykola volunteer, they laughed again. The senior told him that he was not ready to be a sniper yet, because he could not even assemble and disassemble a rifle properly. Mykola insisted that he could become a good sniper and only needed a chance to prove himself. To test him, the senior challenged Mykola to assemble the rifle in 20 seconds. To prove himself, Mykola blindfolded himself, disassembled the rifle, and then reassembled it. He completed the task in only 18 seconds. Everyone was surprised to see Mykoła's speed and dexterity. Those who had laughed earlier now began to applaud him. The senior was also impressed by Mykola and included him in sniper training. During training, Mykola was given an old model rifle while the others received modern weapons. Mykola asked for a modern rifle, but the senior told him he would have to prove himself to earn it. With no other option, Mykola accepted the old weapon and continued. The senior taught that no matter what situation a sniper faces, he must not move even an inch from his position and must keep aiming at his target. To practice this, the senior fired shots near the trainee, and any sniper who moved from his spot was dismissed from training. When it was Mykoła's turn, he did not move at all and kept his aim. In this way, he endured the test and passed the sniper training. In the next training, the snipers were shown their targets only once, and then their eyes were covered with a blindfold. During this exercise, they had to guess and shoot their target. Some of the other soldiers passed this test. But when Mykoła's turn came, his aim missed slightly, and he failed the test because the gun he had was very old, making it difficult to aim perfectly. However, everyone knew that if Mykola had been given a new gun, he would have hit the target accurately. The next training was even more difficult for the snipers because they had to shoot their targets in the light of flares, and that too in the darkness of night. The senior released the flare, and everyone aimed, but no one managed to hit the target. Everyone else had already fired their bullets, but Mykola did not. He realized that it was impossible to aim directly in the light of the flare. So when the senior released another flare, instead of firing immediately, he estimated the distance of his target using the light from the flare. Using his knowledge of mathematics, he fired a perfect shot. Seeing this, the senior and the rest of the soldiers were astonished. No one had ever completed this task before. Only Mykola did. The senior was very impressed with him and gave him his desired code name, Raven. Days passed like this, and Mykola continued training with all his heart and soul. Finally, the day arrived when the results of his training were to be announced. The colonel saluted Mykola and told him that he had passed the test. A few days later, the colonel came to Mykola again and told him to pack his things because they were going on a mission. There was news that some Russian soldiers had captured a checkpoint, and from here, the real story begins. Soon Mykola's team reached the location and took their positions. Just when they were about to shoot the Russian soldiers, a vehicle was seen approaching the checkpoint. The colonel immediately ordered everyone not to fire. On the other side, the Russian soldiers stopped the vehicle and asked the people inside to come out. They checked their passports and searched the entire vehicle. When everything appeared fine, the soldiers allowed them to go but kept their passports with them. When those people asked for their passports back, the Russian soldiers beat them brutally. Seeing this, the colonel ordered his men to fire. In one swift moment, all the snipers took their shots and eliminated their targets. In this way, their first mission was successfully completed. After the mission, when everyone returned to the base, Mykola noticed that many of his companions were missing. He grew worried and asked, "Where are the rest of my comrades?" He was told that the rest of the soldiers had been sent on another mission. The next day, Mykola received the news that many of his comrades had been killed during the mission they were sent on. All of them were killed by a Russian sniper. The name of that sniper was Siri, and he was the best sniper in Russia. A few days passed like this, and Mykola left for his next mission with his team. After reaching the location, they laid mines all around and took their positions. After a while, Russian soldiers arrived at the spot, and among them was On, the same boy who used to trouble Mykola in school. Now, On had joined the Russian army. As soon as the colonel gave the order to shoot, Mykola hesitated because he didn't want to kill his former student. But then Mykola pushed his emotions aside and shot at the landmines placed nearby. A huge explosion followed, killing all the Russian soldiers, including On. After everything was under control, the colonel angrily asked Mykola, "What were you thinking when I gave the order to shoot?" Mykola replied, "One of my students was among those Russian soldiers. I didn't want to kill him." The colonel explained to Mykola that he should not feel sad about Avin's death. He said, "Here, he wasn't your student. He was your enemy. Joining the Russian army was his own decision, so you don't need to feel bad for him." After completing the mission, they all returned to their base camp. The colonel had complete faith in Mykola and spent most of his time with him. One day, the colonel showed Mykola a family photo and told him that there were 3 people in his family. He said, "Both my daughters don't know that their father is a soldier. I've told them that I run a business. Even my wife hasn't told them the truth." Hearing this, Mykola shared his own story, how the Russian soldiers had ruthlessly killed his wife. During this, Mykola became very emotional, but the colonel comforted him. The next morning, they all left for their next mission. This mission was very important because they had received news that a group of Russian soldiers was going to pass through that route. The colonel and Mykola quickly reached the location and took their positions. After a while, they spotted 2 Russian soldiers waiting for the rest of their team. Mykola then noticed that one of those soldiers was the man who had shot his wife, and that man was now directly in his sights. Mykola asked for permission to shoot, but the colonel refused. Maka's anger began to rise because the man standing before him had killed his wife. He had joined the army for this very moment to take revenge for her death. He asked for permission to shoot again, but once again the colonel refused. Unable to control his emotions any longer, Mykola fired the shot. The soldier died instantly. But the bad part was that the Russian soldiers now knew their location. The colonel turned to Mykola and shouted, "What have you done?" But the worst thing was that Russia's most dangerous sniper, named Siri, was also in position. And now he knew their location. The colonel realized Siri was nearby and began searching for him. Before he could find Siri's location, Siri fired a headshot and the colonel died on the spot. Now Mola understood what a terrible mistake he had made. The colonel had lost his life because of his error. Mola learned that the Russians had discovered their position. On the other side, the Russian soldiers began heavy firing and bombing at Maka's team. Seeing the situation worsen, Maka decided to retreat. He picked up the colonel's body and started pulling back from their position. Soon he escaped enemy territory and reached his base. Maka was devastated by the colonel's death and blamed himself for it. He vowed that he would kill Siri and avenge the colonel. Soon Mykola received news of 2 Russian snipers, and he immediately left for his next mission. He reached the location, took aim, and sat down. Soon he killed one of the snipers. While killing that sniper, another sniper shot Mykola in the arm, but he did not give up and somehow managed to kill that second sniper as well. Badly injured, he withdrew to a secret base to let his body rest. During this time, he received a call from the army major who told Mykola that they had identified the sniper who killed the colonel. After that, Mola returned to base and the major began briefing everyone about the sniper. The major said that the sniper's name was Siri and that he was the best sniper in Russia. He added that Siri's aim had never been wrong to date. Siri had allegedly killed 6 of Ukraine's most capable snipers. Therefore, they should not take him lightly. The major explained that Siri first kills Ukrainian soldiers and then uploads videos of the killings to social media to demoralize Ukrainian forces. He described Siri as a sniper who usually does not change position and hunts his enemies from a single location. Now, the plan was made. They would approach Siri's location with 2 teams. According to the plan, the first team would attack the Russian soldiers from the front, and while they were occupied, the second team would strike from behind. Taking advantage of that diversion, Mykola would enter the building and kill Siri. After the plan was finalized, they left for the location. On reaching the site, all the snipers took their positions and began aiming. Meanwhile, Mola also secretly entered the building where he saw 2 Russian soldiers engaged in conversation. Without delay, Mola killed both of them and moved deeper into the building. Maka gave a signal to his team according to the plan. As soon as the signal was received, the snipers there opened fire and killed the Russian soldiers. On the other hand, Siri noticed that none of his companions were reporting to him. He felt something was wrong, so he went to the roof of the building. A Russian sniper was already present on the roof. But when Siri reached him, he found that the sniper was dead. Panic rose in Siri's chest as he realized that Ukrainian soldiers had surrounded him from all sides. He contacted his base for backup, but they said it would take another 10 minutes for reinforcements to arrive. Hearing this, Siri hurried back to his position and started searching for Ukrainian soldiers. Then he noticed a small statue placed on the table in front of him. The same statue Mola had left there, which had been made by Maka's wife. Before Siri could react, Mola attacked him and stabbed him to death. The scuffle alerted another sniper in the building who became more alert. Before that sniper could do anything, Mola threw a grenade near him and the sniper was killed in the explosion. After some time, the backup team Siri had called also reached the building unaware that Siri was already dead. When they tried to contact Siri, Mykola answered the call and told them that they were all going to die. Then he shot the truck driver. As soon as the shot rang out, there was chaos among the Russian soldiers and they scrambled out of the truck. They were unaware that Ukrainian snipers were lying in ambush for them. The Ukrainian soldiers opened fire fiercely and killed the Russians one by one. A few days after this mission, Mykola went to his wife's grave. He felt that the promise he had made to her had now been fulfilled because he had killed all those responsible for killing his wife and the colonel. Here Nicholas swore that he would continue to serve his country till his last breath, and saying this he left from there, and with this the film ends. If you like the video then please subscribe to our channel and like the video. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.